Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. Race number 9 at Saratoga on Travers Saturday is the Grade 1 Forego. Let's take a look at this field. $600,000 is the purse, 7 furlongs for 3 and up. You got some of the better sprinters in the country in this race, and the lone speed might come from the far outside. The number 10 Drefong, winner of the Breeders' Cup Sprint last year. Now, last year in the King's Bishop, outside post position, main speed, he wired that group. He's coming into this race, though, in a little bit different form.
Unfortunately for Drefong and Baffert and company, you know, this horse came back in the Bing Crosby, and he was one of the choices, and they're down to 9-5, and he just took a left-hand turn when he saw that gap in the racetrack, dumped Mike Smith, and that was the end of the story. It is a scenario where he has got just such a massive tactical advantage. The thing you have to keep in the back of your mind, this is essentially his first race in 10 months.
Right. Did he get enough out of running free and clear around the track last time out to be ready for a race like the Forego? Because there are not any ham and eggers in this race.
No.
This is a legitimate group. But here's the point that Matt was making about the pace. As we throw up the Timeform US pace projector, Drefong, the number 10, the Breeders' Cup Sprint winner, is as loose as he wants to be. And that blue bar, very rare in Grade 1 sprint races, favoring horses on the lead.
I was going to say, when was the last time, the King's Bishop, I guess, last year? But I mean, when was the last time you could think of a race of this caliber where you've got the two best sprinters in the country on the East Coast and the West Coast, and one of them is going to be as loose as they want on the front end?
Advantage Drefong, and it might work against the number 6 Mind Your Biscuits, who might have usurped Drefong as the best sprinter in the land based on his win in the Dubai Golden Shaheen. So visually impressive, coming from last and wide. And then in the Belmont Sprint last time out, he really didn't take a deep breath at all, wasn't phased at all by that trip to Dubai, earned a 106 Beyer speed figure. Chad Summers had mentioned after the work 2 back that maybe he wasn't doing so great, but then after the last workout he changed course and decided to go here. Chad's made all the right moves with Mind Your Biscuits thus far. This pace might hurt him, though.
It certainly could. He's going to compromise him at least a little bit. Maybe it doesn't completely take him out of the running. The workouts thing bothers me just a little bit, but at the same time, I trust Chad. If he didn't think the horse was ready to go, he wouldn't be here. The thing I do find curious about that, though, you may mention the work 2 back was the one that they were a little bit, that was over the main track. The most recent work was over Oklahoma, over the training track. So something to just keep in the back of your mind. I think you're right. I think he's the best sprinter in the country right now. No disrespect to Drefong. And even if Drefong beats him because of that tactical advantage, I'm not ready to say that, 8 weeks from now, Mind Your Biscuits couldn't turn the tables. The
number 4 Divining Rod's a fascinating horse in this race. This is a horse that's always shown a ton of ability. He battled through all kinds of foot problems in 2015 when he ran 3rd in the Preakness, arguably at a distance that's a little bit too far for him. Then he missed a whole year. He came back last year. He showed a lot of ability. 2nd in the Cigar Mile to connect. That was a big performance. And then off another layoff last time out, he smashed the field at Laurel. I love that Arnaud Delacour's wheeling him back in 2 weeks.
You know, that's the thing. Someone like Delacour, who is the ultimate horseman, he's going to take care of the horse, make sure they're good to go. This has obviously been an ouchie animal. He hasn't been the soundest. And Delacour even said after that run at Laurel, probably going to be the Kelso, but maybe if he's really feeling good and he comes out of the race in good shape, we'll wheel him back for the Forego. I have to look at it as a positive that he's here. I am thinking that everyone and their brother looks at it and says, this is the wise guy horse, where if you're looking for an alternative to the top 2, isn't it him?
You cashed on Awesome Slew in the Commonwealth during the Keeneland Spring Meet. He's run really well in his subsequent races. I mean, the Churchill Downs Stakes, he had a lot of trouble in there. He got beat by Limousine Liberal. No one was beating More Spirit in the Met Mile. And last time out in the Belmont Sprint, he ran hard. Mind Your Biscuits was just better. The problem that Awesome Slew has in this race is the pace, because I think Mind Your Biscuits can be a little bit more forwardly placed. Awesome Slew, we know where he's going to be at the back.
Yeah, unfortunately for a horse like this, I still like him, and I think he's going to come with an honest run. Aren't you going to get something, best case scenario, what the Belmont Sprint was, where Mind Your Biscuits has a little bit of an advantage? This horse, Awesome Slew, rolls up on him, and we know that Awesome Slew can finish, and he still was no match for Mind Your Biscuits. He drew off away from him down the lane. I think he's just in a tough spot.
Number 7, Tommy Macho, is a 3-time graded stakes winner. He was 3rd in the Carter with all kinds of trouble earlier this year at this distance at Aqueduct. Ran a fine 3rd behind More Spirit in the Met Mile. No match for Mind Your Biscuits and Awesome Slew in the Belmont Sprint. This horse, as he's gotten older, I don't know whether he's just gotten lazy. You have to ride the hair off him from the start.
And that's the problem. I mean, he's visually never going to blow you away because, like you say, he's going to be all out for a half mile. I just look at it and say, if he hasn't been able to prevail in some of these other spots, and really, unfortunately for the connections, the Carter was the spot. He was just very unlucky. I think he was the best that day. That was one of the weaker Carters you're going to end up finding, or weaker grade 1s, I should say. I just can't imagine beating all of these horses.
The number 8 Tale of Saval might be a horse for course. He's 2 for 3 lifetime at Saratoga. He's 2 for 11 everywhere else. He's coming into this race off a career best Beyer speed figure at this distance at Saratoga. Now, he did have a wonderful trip that day. I think you could make the argument that at a price, he's a horse that you could use underneath an exotics, although it must be noted, it seems every time they step him up to face the big boys, he just can't replicate his performances against weaker.
I've always liked this horse. I tried to make him a nice horse as a 3-year-old, and like you say, anytime he gets the acid test, he doesn't cut it. It's also worth noting, he got one of the rides of the meet from Luis Saez, shot up the wood most recently, patient, inside up the rail, got the job done. I'm with you though, I wonder if maybe just he's not quite this good.
At the age of 7, Stall Walking Dude just keeps rolling along. He is seeking his 20th lifetime victory in the Forego. $1.5 million in earnings. He won the Tail of the Cat last time out at Saratoga for the 3rd consecutive year. I mean, you throw him out at your own peril, although I wonder at this point in his career if he's grade 1 class.
Probably not, but I think he's one that you at least have to consider using underneath, and I wonder if there's a scenario where that Belmont Sprint was just a bit of a regression off of such a giant effort in that True North, and then he came back to a good effort most recently. Workmanlike, he's never going to blow you away. But, I mean, look, how can you not like this horse?
Ross is the complete and total X factor. He's 0 for 7 lifetime on dirt, but he won over a synthetic surface in France most recently, and he was far from embarrassed in the Godolphin Mile 2 starts back. The problem is, you know, as a European runner, isn't he just going to be out-sprinted early?
He's going to be out-sprinted early, and especially, the problem is, okay, the run in the Godolphin Mile was really, really good.
He got a great setup.
He got an unbelievable setup. There was a 3-ply pace duel, and we saw Sharp as Tekka. He took the worst of it. Boy, you're going to get a complete 180 as far as pace is concerned this time around, and I just don't think he can finish as well as the others.
Tom's Reddy's career-defining win came in the 2016 Woody Stevens, a race which featured an electric pace, and it's set up for this horse. He's coming into the race in good form, a win in a synthetic race last time out at Presque Isle Downs, but he's just a 1-run closer, and you got to think there might be slightly better closers in here.
Yeah, he's one, I suppose, if we're going to use him underneath only. I will say, don't take that most recent run at Presque Isle at face value, winning by a head. He rolled up, blew past everybody, and then once he hit the front, his ears went up and he pulled himself up, and Brian Hernandez had to just absolutely get him into the race again. It's a deceiving number there. He was much better than winning by a head.
Very, very Stella just looks overmatched.
Yeah, 100-1.
Let's take a look at our top selections for this year's Grade 1 Forego Stakes. Dre Fong, the main speed, we'll try to run him down. I think our opinion here is maybe he just isn't ready, that this is basically his first start off the long layoff, and even with an easy lead, some of these horses with recency can get him.
Keep in mind the other thing, too. He came back in that race at Del Mar. It was 6 furlongs. Right. This is 7. 7 is a different game. I wonder if, you know what, he's going to be feeling good, and you're going to hit that final 1/8 of a mile, and that's when you're going to see the rust, maybe that 10-month layoff come into effect. And guess what? Maybe that sets him up beautifully to the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
And if we were arguing with people, you know what they'd say? Just trust Bobby B.
True enough.
Drop.
Yeah, true.
You're going to go with Divining Rod. You've always liked this horse, and when he is sound, he's real good.
I know he beat nothing last time. My goodness. So you're not going to see a more impressive visual effort from a horse, and I really think that there's a scenario where Drefong goes, Divining Rod is the one that takes up the running just off of him. He has the recency advantage. If he can inherit this thing, I'll go with him over Drefong.
4-10-6-5 for Matt. Mind your biscuits just look good in that race. It's going to be a little different this time around. You know, you overtake Green Grotto turning into the stretch. Yeah. He's a nice horse. Drefong's a different animal. He's just gotten so good, Mind Your Biscuits, right now. He's run well at Saratoga in the past, as has Drefong. I think you can take a measure of Drefong. I'm a big fan of Divining Rod as well. 6-4 for me in the Grade 1 Forego Stakes. It's race number 9 at the Spa on Traverse Saturday, and it's approximate post time of 4:12 Eastern. Best of luck.